everything with the light green, or the RLM gray it's called. I like to do a base coat, and this Mobius 0.2 millimeter is amazing for this job. Look at how nice I can get into these little nooks and crannies here to try to get some dark in where the light is. I go around the neck, get everything I can, still try to keep lights and darks, but then I'm happy with that. So now I got them all base coated on the bodies. Let's start working on the eyes and the face. But I use XF2, and I'm going to use the XF57, the buff, for doing the eyes. So let's pick a couple of these guys, and we'll see which ones are the best. I'm going to use my point or my 4-aught brush. So I always start by painting the eyes when I do the face. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm still going to end up going back and forth 3 or 4 times just to get everything right. But for me, it's a better way to do it, because I get the eyes in, then I start getting a feel for the way everything's supposed to look, and it highlights some of the facial features also that are around the eye. So as you can see, this flat white cover is really nice. I don't prime my figures, but you can see he's kind of like the zombie apocalypse right there. That's just blaring white. So I'll show you. We'll jump over here and we'll grab some of that buff, and we're going to mix some with the flat white and the buff. And I'm using flat white because it covers very well, and we're going to put a clear coat on this anyhow. So it's just easier to paint. Sometimes gloss white doesn't like to flow as well as the flat white does. That's why I use the flat white. And I'm using the buff instead of yellows and everything because I found that it gives it a little bit less jaundice look, I guess is the best word for it. But it is very strong, and you'll see right here, 1 drop is too much. I was hoping, but I never put enough white down, so I always have to come back and keep going. See, that looks almost like if I was painting a computer tech, that would be his flesh color. We'll grab some more of the white. We'll put quite a few drops in it. We'll mix it up and check that. And to be honest with you, I think I did this twice, just so I could get it the right color. And all I'm looking for is just a little bit off-white. Yeah, see, that's getting closer, but it's really not there. But what I'm looking for is just off-white, almost like just a barely antique white color. And with Tamiya paints, this is the best way to do it. I know I could have gone with acrylic paints and got the exact color that I was looking for and everything, but shoot, this will get on there and it'll stay there. It flows nice, and it's what I have. So there we go. You see, and this is even showing, the camera's showing this a little bit off color because it is a lot whiter than that. But we'll paint that on one of the guys, and I'll show you the difference here. So he's kind of Superman looking when I have him in the ankle thing. But see here, when I'm painting the eye, I'm looking at the ridges and everything, and I always go wide with this because that flat flesh and the red brown do cover very well. So I can get a little bit wide on them, and that way when I come back at it, it's just easier. I can see where I'm going, which doesn't mean that my hands are going to agree with my eyes and not make a flub out of the whole thing, which you'll see I actually do. But for me, this is just a good starting point. And there you go. Now you can see, and I'll bring the other one up here so you can really see what I'm talking about. But just that little bit of coloring goes a long way to not make it look like he just saw a ghost. So I'll put the two together. And doesn't he look like the guy from Mission Impossible, the Mission Impossible TV series? But see how white those eyes are? Nobody's eyes are that white. So you just tone them down just a smidge, and they look a whole lot better. I'm going to go and I'm going to paint the iris of the eye. This didn't work out all that great because my toothpicks, for some reason, weren't releasing the paint like they usually did. This is a new set of toothpicks. My old ones, I guess, were a little bit looser grain. So I had to go with these, and I had to go back and touch up my iris too. But I'm going to use the blue on these guys. Usually I'll use the blue and a brown, just because there's different color eyes. I don't go with the grays or anything like that. But here we go. We're going to come in here, and what I try to do is make sure that I'm looking like it's looking down its nose to a point maybe 4 feet away, kind of like it's looking at you. That way you don't get wonky eyes. Wonky eyes will really mess up the way your people look. So now see how he's kind of got a cat eye there. We're okay with that. We'll come back at it. But I just couldn't get the paint to come off of the toothpick like I wanted. And I'm not sure if that's because the iris is molded into the eye or not. But there we go. We're starting to get it there. I'm putting a little more on the toothpick and letting it get sucked into the eye. And that looks like a lot. But once we go to paint the face, the flesh color, it'll be okay. And then I flub the flesh color up a little bit, and we have to come back with the white anyhow. Little foreshadowing there. But you can see the eyes are looking okay. They're pointed in the right direction, and that's the main thing. So when I come in with the flesh color, what I like to do is I like to start at the tip of the nose and work my way around the eyes that way and make a mask. It gives me a chance to feel the brush and how the paint's flowing that day, and it's just mainly me getting used to the way my hands and the brush are reacting with my eyes, so I can pull the brush around a little bit, because everybody knows that you have good days and bad days. This was an okay day, let's put it that way. But I'm working myself around the bottom of the eye and coming up to where literally just painting until the eyeball looks right. There is a little bit of a line molded in these, so that helps. But as you'll see, I still flub it and get a bunch of the flesh color in the eye, so we'll have to come back and redo that. But that's why I keep moving, and I try to keep enough of the eyeball color to where I can come back at it if I flub this up. As soon as I'm done painting the whites of the eyes and the irises, I come back, paint the flesh, and that way if I mess up, I can repair it before that white color, the whites of the eye color that I mixed, goes bad. So, arm rating away, of course. But there you go. You can see I messed up a little bit in the corner where the nose is. Not a big deal. A knife and a toothpick, and we'll be able to take care of that. And actually, it worked out pretty good. So you see I'm working the brow of the eye there. I like coming across the top first most of the time and pull in. And these guys are kind of Cro-Magnon-ish, where the eye is sunk in there pretty good. So I had to work at it to get that brush to flow back in there. And don't forget, he will have eyebrows. So that helps. You look at it and you're like, well, something's missing. And then you'll realize, I forgot to paint the dang eyebrows again. But when you paint the eyebrows in there, it's like, wow, that makes a big difference. So kind of like if you use straight red for the lips, it really just shows up. So, but I do my guys pretty easy. I don't get into the big time washes and shades and fades and things like that, because I found that when I put them in the dioramas, the light that comes from the dioramas give them a natural shades and colors and things like that. So what I do is I'll paint the mask here, and I'm looking at that, and look at how bad that eye is. So now we're going to get the eye color, and we're going to come back real quick before that dries bad. And I sharpened a toothpick to a pretty good point. And now I'm going to come in, and we're just going to work that one corner, checking it to see if the paint's going to come off that tip, because I got it pretty dang tight there. And now we'll just come in and we'll work. It's like precision pointing here. And it's a lot easier to do when you're not on camera, because you can get your shoulders in tighter and your head down lower and really get in there tight. But right now I'm almost above the camera, which makes it hard for me to get my hands and my shoulders in the right position. So it'll actually be easier for y'all to do this than for me to do it. So, but there you go. Just a couple of dots, and he's back in business. So now what we'll do is we'll continue on. I'll fill in all the gaps, and he does, doesn't he? Looks just like him. So there we go. We got the masks painted. I did that to all of them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the rest of the flesh colors and around the ears and the arms and everything like that. And I'll bring it right back. And again, I use the XF15 straight out of the bottle. And I use the XF64 straight out of the bottle. And I'm telling you, those are really good colors for painting people. Check him out. It's perfect. And going over the white, you do get a little bit of shading on everybody. So that helps out a lot. But now what I want to do is I want to seal this. And I'm going to use my Quick Shine floor finish to seal the paint in. Because now, if I make a mistake with the Quick Shine on them, I can wipe it off and take care of it. So it won't be a total loss. It's kind of like doing a factory reset. So I'm going to grab the Quick Shine, get these guys all out of the way, and we're going to just straight up out of the bottle. No thinning the Quick Shine or anything. I just cover everything. The face, the arms, the body, all the paint. And you can see how that gallery, that Mobius 0.2 millimeter gave me some good shading on the body. So I just Quick Shine the face and I'm showing you how good everything looks there now. See how he's still a little angry, but he's looking good. Once the eyebrows are on, he won't look as angry in the lips. But I'm going to Quick Shine everything, and then I will bring you back. Okay, now that everybody's got a gloss coat and it's dried overnight, we can start working on our lips. And we're going to use X7 red, 1 drop. So we're going to need our 3 toothpicks, our water bottle cup, and we're just going to take 1 drop. That's all we need out of this. And now we're going to use our flat flesh, XF15. And we're going to start mixing in. We'll go 3 drops to start. Let's see what that looks like. know what? That's going to be perfect. That's absolutely perfect. And what I got here is I got a sharpened toothpick. I took the time before I started and sharpened that up real well. So let's grab this guy. We're going to do one that's easy just to show you. The hardest part of this whole thing is how to hold them and not mess up. So let's see here. We're going to go right in the lips. This isn't painting at all. I don't know what's up with these toothpicks. There we go. Take a look here. That's about all I need right there. I'll pull it over just a little bit here. And see there? That's about all he needs. Just a little bit with this one so you can see better. Just right in the opening of the mouth. That's all I do. Just like that. Now, for him, we're going to use the XF64 and the red and the buff. And we're going to add to this toothpicks because I threw the one away like an idiot. So now I get one. We're going to go 3 drops here and see what that looks like right off the rip. I'm liking it. I think I'm going to use that. Let's get rid of that. This bottle of brown is really old. Now what I have to do is redo this paint that's on here. Okay. He's going to be tough to paint because his face is hidden. A little bit. Let's see how I did here. Got a little carried away on the top lip here, so we're going to take some of that back off. And that is why I use the quick shine on there, so I can take it back off. Now that looks perfect. Just a little bit of color is all you need. Okay, now it's time to paint the hair. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3 colors for these guys. I'm going to use brown, just X9 brown. I'm going to use sky gray, because we're going to have one of them that looks like Race Bannon, and black. So the other thing I use is just my Ott brush. It's got a nice tip on it. I can really flow the paint well and control it. So you don't need to watch me. Pretty much painting the hair is paint by numbers. And then once we get everything set around, I'll come back and we'll do some shading and things like that with pastels. And I'll show you what goes on with that. But for right now, I'm going to paint all their hair and then I'll bring it back. Okay, everybody's got a head of hair. And while I was at it, I did their eyebrows too. Focus. There we go. I went through and just used the same color on the eyebrows as their hair. And it's looking pretty good here. Now you can see with the lips and everything and the eyes and the eyebrows sure do make a huge difference on these people. They look a whole lot more like what they should look like, natural. So I used some brown, and it was just Tammy's brown. We went with some gray here, because I still think he looks like he should be on Mission Impossible. So he must be moonlighting here. And the eyebrows came out real good, made the eyes look a whole lot more natural. With just a subtle amount on the lips, we're good to go. I got a little crazy here, and we kind of gave him an evil Spock look, because when I did the eyebrows, and those eyebrows are molded in, by the way, so I was just following the lines. But when I did that, I'm looking and it's like, well, he looks like Spock. And then I thought, you know what, let's give him the goatee and make him evil Spock. So there he is. He's going to have goggles on anyhow, so it's going to be cool. But I was having fun. And here we go with this, and he's a hard position to see anything. But see, now the eyebrows sure do make the eyes look better. The lips came out good with the mix of the Tamiya red, the flat flesh, and the light brown. Or, I'm sorry, not light brown. Jeepers. XF60 red brown. But I'm really happy with that. And now the hair is awful glossy. We will come back here and do a dust coat. Even he came out really good. So I'm happy with all these. With that, we'll go on to the next step, which is leave these things sit for an overnighter and let that hair dry hard. And we'll come back and start with our pastels, and we'll dust them out a little bit. And that's just about it. We'll pastel the bodies and everything, but I'm going to leave them that color, the uniform's that color. We're just going to do a little bit of fine-tuning with it, that's all. So I'll let you go. We'll be back tomorrow. All right, so last night when we left, I had everybody's hair pretty much the way I wanted it, except for how glossy it all is. The Brill cream must have been really flowing back then. So I'm happy with all of them, except for this one. I want to do a little bit more salt and pepper with him. These we're going to leave alone. We'll come back with some pastels on them. But I want to dry brush some XF63 German gray into his hair and kind of bring a little bit of different coloring in it. So I'm going to load up a flat brush, and we're going to take 99.95% of it back off. And now I'm going to follow his hairline. So you'll have to kind of bear with me for just a second. We know this goes straight this way. So we'll come back here and give it just a dry brush. And see there, right off the rip, that's starting to show a little bit of difference. Load up, and remove some. And now we're going to come swirly this way off his part. Just like that. Give some highlights. Come down the side, flip the brush. I don't want to go nuts here, but I do want to give it a little bit of different. I might do this on one of the other ones too. We'll see. And this only takes a minute, but it adds a little bit to it. He was looking a little bit monochrome, I guess. One more time here with the gray. Add a little bit back here. Start light, work it up, bring it all the way around. Don't forget those sideburns. I'm trying to darken it up just a little bit more than it was. Showing off those highlights. Just like that. There we go. Now he's got some age to him, but he's still looking good. And we can go one step further even, and I think we will. Give him a whole lot of time. So you know what? I'm going to do him with a little bit, and Evil Spock a little bit, and I'll bring him back. All right, so let me move these guys out here and give us some room. What I ended up doing is I gave Evil Spock a little bit of highlights. Just enough to tone it down a little bit. And it shows up a little bit more of the, I don't know, I guess the highlights in his hair. Just kind of shows which way they're going and everything. While I was at it, I pulled the black back out and I fixed up his beard a little bit more. So he's looking good. I also took the time to do a flat shot on his shoes. So he's about ready to go big time. I took this one and went, after I was done with the highlights, I came back with flat white. And I dry brushed him one more time with flat white, and now I'm happy with his hair. It looks more gray instead of the silver, dark gray. Gives it a little highlights and shading. And I gave him some clodhoppers. Anybody back in the day will know what clodhoppers are. I did the gray on the top here, just a real smidge, really, really dry. And again, you can see which way his hair is parted and everything now. It's working out good. He got some black shoes, and he's good. And now David, we finally put him together. It was time. So I gave him a gray t-shirt underneath the RLM green, and I gave him some brown shoes. I just kind of thought he needed the brown shoes. His hat's on. He's ready to go. So now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. I want to let this dry for a little bit, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to do some panel lining on here. Okay, I got my black panel liner. We got a couple of Q-tips, and we're ready to go here. And like I said, I want to do this real light. So I'm going to be wiping off most of the panel liner in the jar. Let me pull this over and try to show you here. What I do is I go in and I'll wipe this off like 4 or 5 times after I gave it a heck of a good shake. And now we're going to try, oh, gee whiz, on the back side here, just like on where this belt line is, see how it runs. Real loose. And that's it. That's all I'm trying to do. See there, I missed a little bit, but that's okay. We have a Q-tip, and I'm going to pull that anyhow. So you see how that gave that crease line. That's pretty dark, but we're going to let that sit for a minute. And we're going to come up on the top here. And I'm going to drop a little in here, in these creases. And don't think, oh my gosh, what's he doing here? All I'm doing is I'm going to make a couple of shadow lines by going like this. And up across the back. Draw them out. That made it a little bit dark in the middle. And now we'll rub this out real good. Pull a little bit of paint off there, but that's okay. Let's take this out now. Thin that back down. And check that out. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Except for pull the paint off. I hit that a little hard. We're all right. We can come back to that. That's on the high side anyhow, so that we're fine. Do another drop here and here. And we're going to be a little more gentle here with what we do. There we go. Pull most of that out. Draw it out the way the wrinkles go. And see there, that gives a little bit of depth in it. And now when we come back, well, I'll touch these up first. But when we come back, we'll hit that with pastels. And wait till you see what that does. So let's come around the front here where you can really see. I'm not going to go nuts, but this belt really needs it. So we'll hit here and let it run up. See how it's going? We're going to let that take off. This is good. Down in here a little bit. Let it run. I don't want that to go too far there. And I really don't want this to go too far out here. So we'll pull that into the creases and the wrinkles, just like we did in the back. That's looking really good. Take some of it back out. I'm happy. Now see how that brought the detail in there. And trust me, this will all kind of thin itself down too as it dries. I'm going to come up a little higher here, but I sure want to keep away from that t-shirt because that's flat. Let's get some up in here. Run it on the outside of this. I want some in that crease. Right there. How about on those epaulets? Both sides. Just like that. Highlight that out. I'll come back and take most of it off. This is looking good. I'm happy with that. That shows off a lot of the detail. I got a lot right in there though. There we go. Bringing the detail out without messing too much up here. We'll pull some of this back. And we got to watch because, see, we will pull the paint off like that. But that's okay because we got to come back here and touch up anyhow. Now let's see what we can do with these on the wrist. You know what? I'm going to pull some of this off right here. Right on this. Because I just want a little bit here. Like that. And I'll thin that back out a little bit with a new one. And all I want to do here is just kind of roll this around it. Like that. There we go. And see, look at the difference between that one right there and this one. And that's all I'm trying to do is just kind of show off the highlights just a little bit. Take some of that off. Come up here. I want to get down around his wrist a little bit. Might have gone too far there, but that's okay. Think about not going back too far where you can't get the Q-tip. Sometimes you just got to eat it. But that's all I'm doing here is just giving that a little bit of life. Like that. Let's see, what do we got on this hat? Look at, you can hardly see the detail on the hat. Now watch. Take some of that off. That's a bunch on there. It looks like I just made a hell of a mess. But trust me, I did. No, I didn't. This will be fine. We're just trying to follow these lines out, that's all. And then we'll take off the extra. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm actually going to take a paper towel and just do this. Because I want to leave some of that on there. It's a hat. There. Check that out. Wipe that brim off a little bit. But how's that? Oh man, you can't really see a whole lot in the video, but you can sure see it now. The button got a little bit light, but again, like I said, I'm going to come back over this. So, because we're going to dry brush a little bit too. The bottoms here, we'll do the same thing. Just touch. This is going to take off because these are deep. Around. And I'm just trying to see where, like this, where it locks back in there. There we go. Same here. Come all the way up underneath. Give the division. Come back in here, touch it. Just right where it disappears. Now we'll come in real quick and just kind of suck some of that back out of there. Just like that. There's so much back and forth to this that it's not even funny. But it sure does make a difference in the long run. There you go. Check that out. Now, just in about a minute and a half, we really jacked him up, Lord. He looks good. I want to get a... No, we'll leave that with a dry brush. But see, he's looking very nice. Around the back and everything. Looks good. I don't want to go too crazy because then we'll just start to get overkill on it. So we're going to stop with him. Let's try. We'll turn him into a guinea pig here. Let's grab this brown panel liner. Grab a new Q-tip. And this is Tammy's Accent Brown. And I'm just going to try this. I've never used it before. So, win, lose, or draw, we'll all see it. And what I want to do is I want to do the hands first. I like it. I like it a lot. We're gonna use this. Oh yeah. Look at how that kind of pulled in the palm a little bit. I like that. Take the brush or the Q-tip. I'm gonna pull some of that back out of there. Nice. Let's go with the other side and see if it wrapped around. No, it did not. I'm surprised. I kind of thought that this would have pulled all the way across. That just shaded his fingers very nicely. Come back. Knock it down just a smidge. Now I want to see the one that I really never like is the ears. Let's see how that looks. I like that. I like that a lot. Check that out. Should we try on the chin? Right here. I'll take it. I like that a lot. We're doing good here. Nice. Right across the eye, or the forehead here. Take it in. Give him a little color. and down at the bottom at the nose. Well, look at that. A little too much in that ear. Right there. Much better. Same with this one. Just a little bit too much. All right, are you about ready to finish this up? It's time to do our final dry brush on the uniforms. So I'm going to use the same stuff, the RLM Gray, and I'm going to add to it a little bit of Buff, XF57. So let's pull some of this out. Okay, we got our RLM Gray out. Now I want to add 2 drops of Buff, and we'll see where that takes us. So now, oh, I can already see that's better. Yeah. Let's hit this belt. There we go. Now I'm seeing it. Just hit it across the tops. Just like that. Check it out. You can hardly tell I did anything here, but what it did is it gave a little bit of highlights to the shirt. Do this sleeve. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's not changing the color drastically, but it is changing the color on the highlights, right where the shading shows up. That was a little too much, so we're going to come across the top here. I'm glad that was on the back. Let's do these belt loops. Do a lip around the belt loop. And now we'll have to hold the toe, and we'll do his pants. Just like that. There we go. Let me grab an arm here. Remember where I knocked that paint off? I'm going to use this to fill it back in. Float a little bit of paint in there. There. Same down here. Nice. Got the belt. I want that light. I want that very light. I'm trying to keep you in the frame here. And this dries dang near as fast as it hits. So there is him. Just real quick. I mean, it's nothing, it's not a drastic thing, and really, I'm going to say if you didn't want to do it, the pastels will make a huge difference too. You know what? I'll show you. Okay, I've been talking about pastels for quite a while. This was the cheapest set I could get at Hobby Lobby 15 years ago or so. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pastel this guy here. No extra stuff. Just a shot of pastels. And we're going to start off using this yellow real quick. This one right here. I guess you'd call it mustard. And we're going to hit the high sides. Just like that. This will knock some of that shine down too. Oh, geez, sorry. This will knock some of that shine down too. But you can see it really making those high sides pop. And I'm not hitting it very hard, but pastels will pull off a lot more. So if you didn't have buff, or you didn't want to mix up some paint, but you had the pastels, heck yeah, man, dig in. This is just one more way to do it. And trust me, I use these pastels a lot. And how's that? For the back, not too bad. Let's work our way around here to the front. And we're just rubbing this in. This will be a little more dramatic than the dry brushing I just did. It shows up a lot more because it's not as much of an off shade. And next thing I'm going to do here is really blow this one out. So I'm just going high sides here all the way around. My fingers will be taking a little bit off, but not so much that you got to worry about it. You have to more worry about actually rubbing the paint off at this point. There we go. Now watch this. I'm going to take just a little bit of white here, and we're going to come back on some of this. Not a whole lot and not everywhere, just the super high sides. So be very light with it, just like that. How about that, huh? Do the arm. Don't worry about the little powders, the leftovers. They'll go away. There's a lot of people that prefer doing it this way than dry brushing. This is a little faster, and it sure does make a huge difference. See there? Come up the leg, hit the knee. So that's going to show this crease right here. And I think he's good. Just that quick. Changed him all the way around. Look at the difference between him and him in just a couple of minutes. So now, and I'm not even messing with changing brushes or anything. I've used this brush a bazillion times. I keep hitting this, I'm sorry. I use this brush a bazillion times. So what we want to do now is take this brush and do this right across his hair. Take some of that Brill Cream look away. How about that, huh? And I do this with the American Diorama kits because their hair looks so fake. So there's the brown on that. And I'm even going to use the brown on his shoes just a smidge. Right down on the lace. Maybe some around the edges. I don't know. We're all having fun here. But there we go. Pastels or dry brush. You choose. But it's all good. Now, I'm going to take this pastel brush here and I'm going to wipe it off pretty good. darkness because I want to get all that brown off of there. And we're going to come back again with this tan or mustard, and I'm going to just do the face. Real lightly, just to powder up the face just a bit. Help knock down some of that gloss. How about that, huh? What a difference. Look at this. We'll go side by side again. With and without. See how quick just a little bit of pastels can change a person? You still have that little bit of glossy flesh, but not as bad. I see a one part right here that I want to hit. Tone that down. But there we go. Now we'll do his arms. His hands. Knock that shine down just a bit. I love this stuff. And it goes a long, long way. Remember, I told you when we were done and we hit this with the pastels that it'll make a huge difference. This brush is just high enough for me to keep hitting the camera. I'm watching the glossiness just disappear here. And it also takes some of that devil look out of the eyes. But there we go here. The difference between the two is huge. Let's do this one. What I want to do is I want to wipe this yellow out of here. We don't want to make anybody jaundice. Wow. Next time I do this, I'm going to have to snip this brush in half. Now we're going to go brown here. And real light. And I've done this before on my 1/32 kits. And it sure made a difference. Just to remove that gloss. And all the peaks. That neck. To his arms. Can't do it wrong. You really can't. Look at the difference in the arms. From that one to that one. How about that, huh? Took me almost less than a minute to do the arm. This is the fun part. Because you can really see the dramatic change from going toyish to going more realistic look. And I just keep going until I like it. There we go. And he's done. Oh, no, he's not. I missed a big hunk of his forehead. There we go. Now he's done. Talk about a difference, huh? He's going to look good down there working on that model. I can see a little shine that I don't care for on his wrist right there. There. We're going to call him done. Well, I don't know what we're going to call him yet, but that's a bad joke. But he's done. Good to go. So there we go. Thank you again for watching. Again, I'm sorry it was so long, but I couldn't shorten it up any more than I did. So y'all have a great night, a better tomorrow, and give it a try. Let me know what you think. Thanks again for watching.